Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar on Canadian income taxes, Part 1. My name is Ruchika Singh, and I'm the project coordinator at COSTI Immigrant Services, and I will be your presenter for this webinar. Thank you for taking the time out and being with us here today. The agenda for today's webinar is, first of all, explaining Canadian tax system. Do you have to file taxes? When you should file taxes? And what are the forms you should use when you file these taxes? So let's begin by looking at the Canadian tax system. Canada's federal, provincial, and territorial governments require that their residents pay income tax when their income is above a minimum amount. Each government sets its own minimum amount each year. This means that most people who earn income above the minimum pay two taxes. The first one is the federal tax and the second one is the provincial tax. The federal government collects taxes nationally. The provincial and the territorial government collects these taxes within their own boundaries. All personal and corporate income tax is collected at the federal, provincial, and territorial level. Many of the benefits which Canadians enjoy, such as roads, schools, healthcare, social security, and public safety, among other things, are covered by these tax. Tax revenue is used to deliver benefits to lower income families, to charities, to students, to seniors, and persons with disabilities. Tax revenue provides the goods and services tax harmonized sales tax credit. Income tax return through CRA. Taxes are collected by CRA, which is the Canada Revenue Agency. This is the federal government agency that collects taxes and distributes benefits derived from the payment of taxes. The CRA collects, assesses, audits, and enforces federal, provincial, and territorial personal and corporate income taxes. Each year, people who are Canadian residents for tax purposes complete an income tax return. On this return, you list your taxable income, deductions, and tax credits to calculate how much tax you owe to the government. Do you have to file income tax? This really depends on your situation. You must file a return if you have to pay tax or if you want to claim a refund. Let's say, for example, I'm an international student who is a resident for tax purposes and I don't have to file a tax return. Are there any situations where I should file a tax return? Yes, in some cases there are. For example, you need to file a return if you want to apply for the GST/HST credit or any related provincial credit, or if you, your spouse, your common law partner want to receive the Canada Child Tax Benefit payments. You may also want to carry forward or transfer the unused part of your tuition, education, and textbook amounts, report income for which you could contribute to a registered retirement saving plan, or claim the working income tax benefit. Who files income tax? Everyone who is a resident or a deemed resident of Canada must file income tax. You may owe taxes or you may want to claim a refund. Your SIN will likely begin with a 9. This is a temporary SIN that is valid only until the expiry date, which is shown on the immigration document that authorizes you to work in Canada. If your SIN starts with 9, to file your income taxes, you need to keep a record of your income from all your sources. And for that, you will need your social insurance number, which is SIN, which is valid under the expiry date shown on your immigration document, your individual tax number, which is ITN, your temporary tax number, which is TTN. These numbers are given by the CRA to individuals who do not qualify for a SIN. To those of you who are hoping to remain in Canada after your studies, it is a very good idea to file taxes. When you apply for your permanent residence, you will be able to submit your notice of assessment with your immigration documents, which proves that you have been earning in Canada and that you have paid your fair share of income taxes. CRA has resources to help understand whether you are a resident, a deemed resident, a non-resident, or a deemed non-resident for tax purposes. This can affect what information you provide on your tax forms. Things that can affect your residency status for tax purposes include tax treaties. For example, if your home country has a tax treaty with Canada and how strong your ties are here. There are some situations that may come up which CRA covers online, which you can find at CRA's website, which is www.cra-arc.gc.ca. It may be a good idea to file a tax return even if you don't have to. Taxes are paid on income. What does the government tax? It taxes the income from work, the income from your investments. What usually does not get taxed is scholarships and bursaries for full-time students, money which is being saved in a bank, and money which is used for capital investments. The amount of taxes charged depends on how much you earn. Some taxes that will affect you. The CRA also collects a value-added sales tax called the Harmonized Sales Tax or HST. The consumer pays the tax and businesses are generally responsible for collecting and forwarding it to CRA. When you buy goods or services, where HST is applicable, the amount of tax is generally shown on your receipt, your invoice, or the contract you received from the purchase, or it will be there in the sign to tell you how much GST or HST you have paid. The Canadian tax system is based on residency. Canadian residents pay tax on their income from all sources, both inside and also from outside of Canada. And non-residents of Canada pay taxes only on their income from Canada. Generally, most type of income you receive are taxable, and you will have to report them on your income tax and benefit return. If you own a property, you will be required to pay the property tax. When you should file your taxes. A tax year is like a regular calendar year, which usually ends on December 31st. You have until April 30th of the following year to file your income tax and benefit return and pay any taxes you own. There is one exception. If you or your spouse or common law partner are self-employed, your return must be filed on or before June 15th. Keep in mind that if you owe any taxes, you still have to pay the amount due by April 30th. If you do not file your taxes on time or you don't pay your taxes owing on time, you will be charged penalties and interest. You may file your taxes through any of the following methods. You could use a chartered accountant. You can use the software which is available on Revenue Canada's website. You can submit your taxes electronically or even via mail. There are also free tax clinics where you can get your taxes filed without any cost. We will be discussing these free tax clinics in part 2 of this webinar. Moving on, when should you file your taxes? Income tax returns should be completed before April 30th of each year. Generally, an individual has 3 years from the end of the tax year to file a tax return and claim a refund. However, there are some exceptional situations that may allow you to file tax after the 3-year deadline. For more information, you should go and see CRA's Income Tax Information Circular IC07-1, which has the taxpayer relief provisions. Employers and payers must deduct federal, provincial, and territorial taxes. Canada Pension Plan or Quebec Pension Plan premiums, employment insurance premiums, and other contributions from gross pay amount. Then the employee is paid the balance. Employers must provide employees with a pay stub that show the amounts that have been deducted. Employers cannot keep the money they have deducted from their employees' pay. They must send it to CRA. You can track the amount paid to CRA from your paycheck. Uh, it is usually shown on your paycheck. As a taxpayer, you will either use general income tax and benefit package for the province or territory where you have lived on December 31st, or the income tax and benefit package for non-resident and deemed residents of Canada. If you'd like to prepare your tax yourself, you can file your return online using one of the several tax preparation software packages available for a fee, in some cases also free of charge. You can use the NetFile, which is a certified software, which is available at the CRA's website. But please note that sometimes this is not available, this particular software. What are the forms used for completing your tax returns? You can file a paper copy of your return by mailing it to your local tax center. You can download and print a copy of your tax package from the CRA website. Or if you're using the general package, you can pick up a copy at any Canada Post location from February until May. You can also have a tax professional help to prepare and file your return. Whether you prepare your return yourself or have it prepared by a tax professional, remember that filing online means that you will get your refund faster. The CRA webpage called Sending a Tax Return lists all the filing options which are available to you. This webinar was brought to you by the Orientation to Ontario program. This is a bilingual program funded by Immigration, Refugees and Citizenship Canada and also by the Government of Ontario. This program has been designed to expedite and facilitate the settlement of newcomers to Ontario and help them make better and informed choices. Our email address and our phone number is listed on this slide. We also have a huge data bank of resources at settlement.org/O2O. So I encourage all of you to go and see those resources. COSTI Immigrant Services is a community-based multicultural agency specifically focused on providing services to all newcomers who are settling in the Greater Toronto Area. COSTI provides educational, social, and employment services to newcomers, become self-sufficient, and get settled in their new community. And COSTI manages the O2O program, which has brought you this webinar today. Thank you for listening to this webinar, and I also encourage all of you to watch part 2 of this webinar. Thank you, everybody.